excited. But when I talked about relationships, guys, there's relationships that you're going to build over time in this company, people you haven't even met yet, like Mr. Kim and Lee. I never met him before 2014, but since then I've got to meet his beautiful wife, Sarah, who he's been married to for 13 years, his high school sweetheart. I've got to meet his son, Evan, 7 years old, who came out here and went fishing with us, and I still owe him a big fish because I promised him one and we never got it, and an alligator.
He caught one and then you threw it
back. I threw it back, yeah. So guys, and his 5-year-old son, Ethan, I've got to know him over time. And these are the things that I'm so excited for about with everybody on this line, is that there's relationships that you haven't even realized yet that are going to happen from Jevita. So with that being said, I'm going to get myself out of the way. Dawn, thanks for that awesome, the dream boards. I'm sure it inspired a lot of people. But Mr. Kim and Lee, I'd like to turn the webinar over to you.
Awesome.
Sir, thank you very much.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for your leadership. It's been just an absolute pleasure to be working with you guys for the last 3 years or so. So hold on one second, guys. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen so we can go ahead and get started here. So give me 1 second. Okay, and so I can see both of you guys, Bill and Don. Is everything, let me mute everyone. You can see the screen, everything. Okay, perfect. I'm going to mute everybody really quick. All right, and then if you guys, there's a chat box in there. If you guys have a question, we can answer those later. If you want, you can also unmute your line manually and it'll help you as well. So first and foremost, thank you guys so much for joining us this early morning. Seeing all the people joining this early, especially for you West Coast people, I'm super excited for you, simply because I know what this topic will do for many of you guys in achieving the goals and dreams that you've set out for not only you, but for your family as well. And we are excited to be just a small part of all of this growth that you're about to have. But I think many of you guys know, the beginning of every single year is such an exciting time because we have so many hopes and dreams about what the coming year is literally going to bring for each and every one of us. And I think just like 95% of the people, by the time February rolls around, they're already disappointed, they're already giving up, and they're already anticipating the following year, right? So we want that to be different for you, because what we know from our perspective is that 2018 for Jevita and for our businesses, it's going to be absolutely a monumental year. And this coming year, we believe is going to be the best year ever for our company. We are really coming into a season of maturity for our company. We're coming into a season of really a lot of fruitfulness because our company is really poised in position to do some unbelievable things. So those of you that have been able to withstand the storm of every single business and every relationship that goes through, you guys are really about to harvest actually a great reward. And I am excited because this by far is the number one thing that sets apart everyone from who is successful and who is not successful. So I commend you that you are taking your business serious enough that you want to make this a part of your journey. And you know that setting a goal is absolutely the number one thing you can do to ensure your success. I love this little saying here because Napoleon Hill is probably one of the greatest philosophers and business type leaders, motivational type people in the world. And this is just such a great saying when he said, a goal is a dream with a deadline. See, each and every one of us has goals. We also all have dreams. And the great thing I love about network marketing is that when I got involved over 15 years ago, when I got involved in network marketing, it started helping me dream again. And I think many of us would agree with that, is that, many of us, as we get older, our dreams die and we start to settle for what life gives us. But when we were kids, like my 5 and 7-year-old, you ask them what they want to be, when they grow up, you ask them what they want to do for a living, and their dreams are just outrageous, right? Like, I want to be an astronaut on the moon, or I want to be a farmer on the moon. And, you know, we're like, yes, you can do it, right? So when we're younger, we have no limitations. And it just seems like as we get older, our dreams start to die. But when we get into network marketing, isn't it crazy how all of a sudden we're dreaming again of the possibilities that if we built a business financially, what it could do for our families, which would allow us to dream again. And isn't it that a great feeling? So I believe when you start setting goals, your dreams will come to reality. But there are very, very few people who are willing to set goals. There are very, very few people who are willing to write them down. I want each and every one of you to be different. I want you to, care about yourself, care about your family, care about your dreams enough that you will take it so serious that you will write it down, because you guys have heard that a goal not written down is just a wish. So what I want you to do moving forward as we get ready to start this webinar is I want you to make sure you're taking notes. Don't get so busy doing other things that you think you can just listen to what I'm telling you and it will all sink in like a sponge. It will not. Let me tell you something that I know for that is 100% true. Every time you get on a webinar, every time you attend a meeting, every time you get on a conference call, you should be recording and writing down everything, because it's easy to delete and throw away notes. It is very difficult to basically rehash and rethink what you heard that inspired you, okay? So you should write everything down, because you are no different than everybody else. You yourself will only retain 10% of what you hear at the end of this hour. You're only going to retain 10%. And there's going to be something in this webinar that's going to help you, if not many things that are going to help you. And I know that for sure, because for the last 5 years, I have been doing this, and it's been helping me achieve all the goals that I've had in network marketing. It's helped me, make a lot of money in network marketing, and it's helped me do this full time for almost 15 years. Okay, so I'm literally telling you based off of experience. And as you guys know, if you want something, what someone else has, all you got to do is do what they do, right? That's the simplicity of success, is you do what others are doing to get what they're getting. Okay, so take some time, get some paper now. Get some paper, take some notes, because I'm going to be having you do some things, because we're not on here just to see each other. We're on here to do some work to prepare ourselves to go into war in 2018, because 2018 will be a war for each and every one of us. The devil will try to derail you, because God's created something great for you. So the devil's going to do everything he can to derail you. So we got to be prepared for what's about to happen, because in order for you to achieve those goals and dreams, you will have to fight for them. So we got to be prepared in going into this opportunity and going into this 2018 to achieve our goals. So the first thing we're going to talk about is I read this article, which was unbelievable. And it was, the top of the article was called Achieve Your Goals. It was research reveals a simple trick that doubles your chances for success. And let me explain this, because I'm very much on data. I like data. Maybe that's because I'm an engineer by heart and trait. But I like to really read things, because I think research really tells a lot, because our business is really about psychology. Our business is really not about coffee. It's a psychology business, right? So the person who can achieve and control their thoughts and mind, whoever can change their mindset really can achieve greater things, because our mindset is the thing that sets us apart, right? So here's the thing. This research group took 3 groups of people, and all they were simply going to do is they were going to basically exercise. They were going to talk about exercise, and they wanted them to start exercising daily, okay? And as many of you guys know, before January, everyone wants to exercise. Everybody wants to lose weight. The gym is packed in January. It's empty by April, right? So everybody wants to do this. So why is it that some people stick with it and some don't, and 95% of the people get rid of it, right? So here's what they did. And this is going to lead to why this is so important for us. But I want you to see factual data. Okay, so they took 250 people. They divided them into 3 groups. The first group is what they called the control group. All they simply do was they asked them to keep track of how frequently they're going to exercise. And they also wanted to, they had them read 3 chapters of an unrelated novel that had nothing to do with the actual goal of exercise. So they just had them read some generic 3 chapters every week of some generic novel. And they just said, okay, I just want you to track how much you're going to do. And they said, okay. That was called the control group. Group number 2 was what they called the motivation group. The motivation group, they were asked to keep track of how frequently they were going to exercise over the next 2 weeks. Then each person was asked to read a pamphlet on the benefits of exercise for reducing the risk of heart attack. So what they wanted to do is they wanted to motivate them on the topic of why they were exercising. Okay, but that's all they did. And then group number 3 was what we called the intention group. This intention group, they were basically told to do exactly what group 2 did, which they were going to read those articles on heart disease, on the benefits of exercising to reduce heart disease. So they had them do the same thing the motivation group did. But what group number 3 did also, in addition, is that they were also asked to formulate a plan for when they were going to exercise over the following week. Specifically, each person in group 3 was asked to explicitly state their intention to exercise and write down specific dates on when they were going to exercise. So they literally, in group number 3, they not only motivated them with this information on why it was so good to do it, but they had them write their goals down. And then they let them go. And then they came up with some statistics. And here is the statistics. The percentage of participants who exercise at least once a week. Group number 1, the control group, only 38% of them exercise once per week. Group number 2, the motivation group, only 35% exercise once a week. But look at group number 3. Group number 3 was the intention group, which meant they not only were motivated, but they had them literally write things down on when they were going to do it, how they were going to do it, how many times they were going to do it, why they were going to do it. They had them write it down, and look at the staggering percentage of difference. 91% of the people who wrote their goals down actually exercise once per week, compared to the control group, which is just the, hey, this is what you want to do, or the group number 2, which is just trying to motivate you. See, so here's what we know. We as human beings, we not only want to be motivated and know why we want to do it, but nothing gets accomplished unless we write it down. Again, this is an article on research. Has nothing to do with network marketing. It's research on exercise, but it applies to everything we do. So by knowing that, how can we believe that we are any different? Because this is a research on people. So I wanted to show you this because imagine this. Right now, there are roughly 50 plus people on this call. Can you imagine if 50 of us wrote down our goals to become supervisors, managers, directors, or diamonds, and 91% of us achieve that goal by the end of 2018? Where would our company be? Where would the lives that we have changed be? Where would we be financially? How many people would we affect directly and indirectly? See, we have a really great responsibility, and it starts with us. So I wanted to show you that. So hopefully that really sunk in to understand as we move forward, the things I'm about to show you and tell you to do is the things that I've been doing for many, many years, but based on research shows why I've been able to be successful and be able to do something where most people will tell you that no one makes money in, where most people tell you that these don't work, where most people are not making money. Why is it that some of us, like myself, can do this full time after leaving almost $100,000 a year job at Intel? How can I do this full time for the last 15 years if these don't work? Simply because I am doing things that most people will not do. And I think many of you would agree. Many people will just listen and they'll say, wow, that sounds great, but they never actually do the things that are simplicity or the simplistic things to help them achieve those great results. Okay, so let's get started, and I hope you have paper and you're taking notes. So what is a goal? First of all, goal setting is it needs to be a SMART goal. And a SMART goal stands for S, means specific. You got to be clear and unambiguous when setting your goal. Don't leave room for guessing. You got to be very specific. It's like taking a magnifying glass and burning something with the sun. If you move the magnifying glass all over the paper, even if the sun is 100 degrees, like in Florida, and you move the magnifying glass all over the place, and you don't stand still and let it focus, you will not burn any paper with the magnifying glass. M stands for measurable. You got to set a goal, right? But it has to be measurable, okay? You have to be able to measure that goal. So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to help you do that, okay? So it measures your goal towards the progress of 2018, okay? It has to be attainable, right? Ask yourself, is this realistic and attainable, right? But at the same time, don't set the bar so low because as Les Brown says, the problem is that not that we set the bar too high, is that we set the bar too low and we hit, right? So you want to set the bar really high, okay? And then R, it has to be relevant, right? Create a goal with the importance and meaning, right? Make sure it's worth it. Make sure that it's something that's going to excite you, right? That it's worth it to you to do, okay? And we're going to talk about that. And then T for the SMART, it's time bound. You got to commit to a deadline, right? Like Napoleon Hill. A goal is just a dream with a deadline. You got to have a deadline. You can't just say, oh, whenever, right? Everything has an expiration date. So you got to put a deadline so that you can really have something to focus on to get to that. So that's why when you set a goal, it has to be SMART, right? Open-ended goals tend to be forgotten, okay? If it's open-ended and it's whenever, you will have no sense of urgency to basically get to that goal. So we want to make sure that you are setting SMART goals, okay? So one of the things is these are the 5 reasons why you really should set goals, right? And these are the importance, right? Zig Ziglar says it, if you aim at nothing, you will hit it every time, okay? So number 1, goals give you focus. You got to set goals because it helps you stay focused. I think many of you would agree that you're focused now because it's the beginning of the year and you're excited, you're motivated. But as we all know, motivation is going to leave us. Motivation comes and goes. It's like inspiration. That's why it's like, everything is cycle, right? Everything has a cycle, right? Number 2, goals allows you to measure progress. How do you know how far you're going or how far you've come if you don't have a goal written down? Number 3 is goals keep you locked in and undistracted. We're all going to get distracted by life. As you remember me saying, the devil is going to distract you. Anytime God sets up something great for our lives, the devil is always there to destroy it. Because the devil doesn't want you to live the life that you deserve. The devil doesn't want you to live in abundance. He wants you to suffer. God's created you and given you this opportunity and the skill set already. You just got to develop it, okay? And then number 4, goals help you overcome procrastination. Number 1, I'm raising my hand. I am a huge procrastinator. When I got started, procrastination is a big thing for me. Many of us, we die from the sword of procrastination. We say, we're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. But how many of you would agree? If something is important, you make time for it, right? If something is important, think about the times where you've had to sacrifice family time because your job told you needed to be there, right? If it's important because it was important, because if you didn't do it, you would get fired, right? So you make time for things that are important. And then number 5, goals give you motivation. You are going to have to be self-motivated. No one is going to motivate you. You are going to become self-made in this industry. Who you are today, in 2019, you will be a different person. If you can set those goals, stay focused enough, and you can overcome the procrastination and you can achieve any one of these goals that we are going to set out for each other, you will be a different person, I promise. And all of the greatest growth that you're going to achieve this year is going to be through your trials and tribulations. So I'm just telling you in advance, it's coming. So you don't have to be surprised, but know that it will be the greatest year of your life. And you will look back at the end of this year and you will be smiling from ear to ear because you will be so proud of yourself. And that's going to be the greatest feeling. And I want you to remember those days when you were proud of yourself for doing something you thought at one point in time in your life you couldn't do. I want you to think about how you felt. But I want you to think about these really big goals that you're going to have in Jivita for your business. When you achieve those goals, how will you feel? Okay? So these are the top 5 things it's very important for us to set goals. Okay? So let's get into some of this nuggets. So first thing I want you to do, and these are the things that I've done for many, many years. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to write down your goal. Now, I want you to write down 3 goals that you have for yourself. Okay, write down 3 goals. A goal could be, I want to get to supervisor. And hold on, hey Sarah, can you bring my book with all the planning? It's out there. It should be on the table. Okay, so I want you to write down 3 goals. So take some time, write down 3 goals that you want to achieve. Maybe you want to be a supervisor. Maybe you want to make $2,000 per month. Maybe you want your car payment paid. I want you to write down 3 goals. So if you're having a hard time thinking of 3 goals, write on your paper, need to write 3 goals. Thank you. Thank you, Evan.
Hi, everybody.
There's Bill. You see Bill?
Hi.
There's Bill. Okay. All right. So I want you to write down 3 goals. And again, if you can't think of them, write down on a piece of paper, need to write 3 goals down. And so I want you to write down 3 goals. Number 2 is underneath your goals, you're going to have something what I call a progress goal. And these are 3 steps. And a progress goal is defined as in what ways do you need to progress and advance your abilities to reach your goal. Now, I'm going to give you an example of what that sounds like because I'm going to show you mine. So I have it written down here. Okay, so you can't see it, but I'm going to read it to you. Okay, so these are my goals. So what I do is I take a piece of paper, okay, and at the top of each piece of paper, I write 1 goal down. So if you get 3 pieces of paper, at the very top, write the goal down. Second piece of paper, second goal. Third piece of paper, third goal. Okay, at the very top, that's your goal. Underneath are 3 progress goals. Like, in what ways do we need to progress to be able to achieve that goal? So let me give you an example. My goal is to not only achieve diamond, but get to 100K a month. That's my goal. Okay, so it's lofty, but I got to put a high goal. Okay, so my goal is to basically become a diamond, a black diamond, royal crown diamond. My goal is the highest diamond possible. So how do I become a diamond? Well, my progress goal, which are 3 steps, is this, to give you an idea to help get the wheels turn. My 3 progress goals are, number 1, I need my star promotion rate to be 25% or higher. That's my first progress goal. My second progress goal is that I want to personally enroll 3 people and help them become directors. Okay, that's a progress goal. My third progress goal is that I want to continually work with existing members in achieving any goal that they put out for themselves. Okay, so those are my 3 progress goals that basically are linked to the goal at the top. Okay, now the action tasks are, you have 3 action tasks per progress goal. Okay, 3 action tasks for each progress goal. So let me give you an idea. My progress goal for my becoming a diamond, the number 1 was star promotion rate. I needed to get to 25%. Okay, that was my first progress goal. My 3 action tasks underneath the progress goal are as follows. I need to do welcome calls with every new member that joins my business. Number 2, I need to follow up with the enrollers on the member launch and their Java parties. That's my action task number 2. And my action task number 3 is to get all new members on the launch and to make sure that every new member becomes a star. Okay? So if you notice, I had 3 things that were going to help me with my number 1 progress goal, which was to increase my star promotion to 25%. Okay? And then number 2, progress goal was to personally enroll 3 members and help them become directors, right? So I would go down to my progress goal number 2, and I would basically say, okay, what would be my action task to help those 3 people become directors? Okay? So all you're simply going to do, and what this does is it breaks it down. So if diamond is the goal, all you're simply doing is you're backtracking from the beginning, right? So it's almost like you know how to get to Florida. You know the street Bill and Don live on. So you're just going backwards all the way to your house, instead of going from your house and creating direction to Bill and Don's. All you're simply doing is you're starting at Bill and Don's house and you're going backwards, right? So what you want to do is you want to write down, you want to get 3 pieces of paper, okay? Get 3 pieces of paper and then write 1 goal at the top and then a goal and then a goal and a goal, okay? So 3 goals, 3 sets of paper, and then 3 progress goals. And remember, the progress goal is in what way do you need to progress to advance your abilities, okay? So to get to that goal, what are 3 things you need to do to get to, let's say, supervisor? So if you want to become a supervisor, what are 3 things you need to do to become to get good at, to become a supervisor? And when you get those 3 things, your action tasks are what are you going to do daily and weekly to make sure that those 3 things get done? Okay? So hopefully that makes sense to you. And again, we can discuss this further for those of you that have even more questions about that later on. But that's how you start. Okay? So that's how you get those 3 goals, because you're going to basically backtrack. Okay? Now, this is going to be, I'm going to give you the routine. So every morning and evening, this is what I want your routine to be. This routine is really going to get you on track. And again, for many of you, this is going to be new, but it doesn't take a lot of time. But it's very, very, very important that you do this. Okay, so here's your morning routine. First thing I want you to do every single morning is I want you to write down 3 things that you're grateful for. Or I want you to write down 1 thing you're grateful for and 3 reasons why. Because I will tell you, gratitude really sets your day up to be thankful. So I think we would all agree, we have many, many things to be grateful for. We have many things to be grateful for. We have a roof over our head. We have food on the table. For many of us, and for potentially all of us, we have our family is healthy, right? We have cars to drive. We have the ability to earn income. So, write down every morning and really make an effort at this, okay? So write 3 things down that you're grateful for, or just write 1 thing you're grateful for, but 3 reasons why, okay? Number 2 is that I want you to write your goal down. What's the goal for the day? What's the goal for the day, okay? And then number 3 there, it says, what's today's target? Let's say your today's target is I want to meet 2 new people, or I want to get 2 new numbers, or I want to connect with 2 people that I haven't talked to in 5 years, or I want to create 3 new friends on Facebook, right? So write the goal down in the morning, okay? And then the last part is you're going to plan your day. Plan your day, okay? Because if you don't plan, you plan to fail, okay? So write your plan down. What's the plan for the day? Example. Here's my plan for the day. I get up in the morning, have my coffee. I take my kids to school. I come back to the house. I check my report. I connect with 3 people I look at my report. Anyone who started in the business, I want to contact them directly, right? I want to make 3 new friends on Facebook. I want to connect with 2 new people. I want to try to send out at least 1 video to someone. I want to give out a sample, right? Like, plan your day. And this is your morning routine. You know, I get up, just so you guys know, if you guys ever called me, I get up at 6 a.m. I know Bill gets up super early. Bill's 2 hours ahead of me, and I get text messages at like 3 a.m. sometimes my time, right? Because Bill's like, hey, I was just thinking of this, and he doesn't realize it's like 3 a.m., and I know he gets up at 5, right? But I get up every morning at 6 a.m. Because my routine is my gratitude, my personal growth, my devotion, and I plan for the day. That's my daily routine every morning at 6 a.m. Okay? So, and here's what I know. Most people don't do that. So if most people don't do that, most people also aren't financially free either, right? So I like to do what most people won't do. Just like you, right? You want to do what most people won't do, okay? So that's my routine, okay? So that's your morning routine. Now, here is your evening routine, okay? And I don't care if this is after the kids are in bed, you're about to go to sleep, you got to change some things, guys, okay? So here's your evening routine before you go to bed or whenever you see fit. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to write down the wins. How did you win the day today? What was a win for you today? Okay? Number 2, lessons learned. Did you learn anything new today? And are there opportunities for improvement? What did you learn today? Like maybe you say, you know what? It was a win today because I did some 3-way calls and I learned how to use my phone to do a 3-way call. But man, I need to improve on edifying Bill and Don when I do a 3-way. Gosh, that was horrible. Or I got to improve on this. Gosh, that was like horrible how I did it. Or you know what? I talked to a lady at the park and it was such a win because I talked to her and I got out of my comfort zone. It was such a win. But the opportunity for improvement is man, I got to get an elevator speech. Or man, I got to know exactly what to say because I butchered it. I told her it was weight loss coffee and then I threw up on her and that was just horrible, right? So that's the second thing. Number 3, evening gratitude. Evening gratitude. Again, what are you grateful for from the day? And the reason why I tell you to do the gratitude at the night and the evening time is because there is a research study that shows that if we write down things we're grateful for in the evening, it helps ease our mind and it helps us get better sleep. Because I think many of you guys would agree, sometimes we go to bed, we try to go to bed, and our mind is racing because we're worried about the day ahead. We're worried about our situation. We're worried about our finances. We're worried about all these things. And we go to bed with a restless mind, right? And the research shows that if you can put down what you're grateful for in the evening, it slows your mind down, and gratitude just does something to the soul. So I want you to do that before you go to bed every evening, okay? And I promise you guys, if you can stick to this for 12 months, you will be a different person. Your business will be in a different environment. I promise you, okay? And then your weekly routine is simply this. Every Sunday, I want you to review your progress from the week and track how you're doing. Because you guys should have 3 pieces of paper. You should have progress goals and then your tasks underneath your progress goals on what you want to accomplish. So every Sunday, I want you to review your progress on how you've been doing, okay? So that's what I want you to do because we have to track. And again, as long as you're moving forward, you are making progress. Don't get so caught up that you're not making huge strides or huge jumps, because little steps every single day in 12 months, you will have traveled very, very far, okay? So every win, every step is a step closer to your goal. Every time you fail forward, right? And John Maxwell says this, is that failing forward means you're that much closer to your goal. You're that much closer to your dream. Okay, so we want you to make sure that you are writing this down and you are reviewing your progress every single week. Okay? Now, I want to talk to you about some personal stuff about you to make this all happen. Number one, you're going to have to understand you're going to have to grow yourself, because in order for you to see value, you have to add value. And it starts with you. You got to add value to yourself. You are your number one priority. It's like being on an airplane. The steward and stewardess always tell you that in case of an emergency, if the oxygen masks fall down, you must put the oxygen mask on yourself before you put it on your child, because you have to take care of yourself. If you are not around, your team will die. If you're not around, your team won't make it. So your team needs you as much as you need them. So you got to take care of yourself. The number one thing I see in every single network marketing professional, or I should say amateur, is that they say things about themselves that if they heard someone say that about someone in their family, they would be in a fight. You need to guard your self-talk. And whatever you say, whatever you speak negative comes to life. Everything you speak positive will come to life. So guard your self-talk. For the next 12 months, I don't want you to ever say anything negative about yourself. And sometimes many of you say negative things about yourself and you don't even know you're saying negative things about yourself. So I want you to guard that self-talk. And when you catch yourself, I want you to say something positive about yourself. Okay? So do that this year. And in order for you to add value to others, you need to lose yourself to find yourself. And what do I mean by that? If you just focus on helping a lot of people, you'll get everything you want in life. Jim Rohn says it absolutely perfect. He says, if you help enough people get rid of their bills, your bills disappear. If you help enough people get what they want, you will have everything that you want. And every day you want to get a win. Every day you want to get a win. Too many of us, every day we get a loss and it compounds. The same holds true that every time you get a win, you will get better. And then we want you to be prepared. That's why you're doing it today. That's why I want you to write down your stuff, right? Because preparation relieves anxiety. Preparation relieves anxiety. Sometimes we are so anxious. We want to be supervisor, but we don't know what to do. We are going to help you achieve those goals, but you got to be prepared. And being on this webinar this morning is the first step in your preparation for your win. And then the second part is simply this. You have to be consistent. You have to be consistent, folks. It doesn't matter what you do once in a while. It matters what you do every day. You have to do something every day. I would much rather take someone who is consistent than someone who blows up for 3 months and then does nothing for 2 months. So you got to be consistent. Consistency establishes your reputation. That's why people don't join people in network marketing, is because many of us are doing Javita for 6 months and then our friends hear nothing about Javita for the next 6 months, right? Consistency establishes your reputation. See, the one thing people know about me in my neighborhood and in New Mexico is that Kim and Lee is a professional network marketer, and that Kim and Lee is, yes, he's still in network marketing, and Kim and Lee is still in Javita, yes, right? It also, being consistent provides security. You don't have to wonder where you're going. You don't have to wonder what you're doing. You don't have to wonder what you're fighting for. Number 3, it reinforces your vision and your values. See, if you have vision and you have values, you have something to stand on. You have the lanes to stay in. You know, I tell everyone all the time is, you know, based on my faith doesn't make me perfect. But what my faith does is it keeps me in the lines. It keeps me grounded. See, that's what we need. And being consistent does that for you. And then consistency, which is my favorite, consistency compounds. Consistency compounds, because every day you are consistent, you are getting better. Every day you are consistent, your business is getting better. Every time you are consistent, your life is headed in the right direction. Consistency is so powerful, guys. So let's start. Number 1, you guys should have your goals written down by the end of today. Number 2, when you achieve this goal, I want you to ask yourself, your life will improve in the following ways. I want you to list them. How will your life get better if you hit these goals? So write them down. Write them down. Remember this, the thing I talked about in the beginning. Write them down. If you achieve the 3 goals that you are putting down on paper right now, how will your life get better if you achieve those goals? Write them down. Number 2, or number 3 there, if you complete this goal by that target date, you will reward yourself with what? Write it down. Let me tell you my goal, and you guys will love to see this when it happens. I told both of my boys that when I hit diamond, we're going to be going to Disneyland or Florida, to SeaWorld, and they'll have the opportunity to swim with dolphins. I said, when Daddy hits diamond, we're going to take $10,000. We're going to go to Florida. You're going to do your fishing, and you're going to swim with dolphins, and that's going to be your reward. Yeah, Bill's going to help you catch a big fish, right? And so that's our goal. That's what we're going to reward our family with when Daddy hits diamond. And that's what we wrote down, okay? And then the last thing is I want you to write this down. What 3 things will you do to ensure that you take action on these goals every day? What are you going to do? And it could be simply this. I will do an accountability call with my director. I will do an accountability call with whoever. You know, set yourself up to win. So write it down. What are 3 things you're going to do? It could be as simple as I'm going to do an accountability call with Bill. I'm going to do an accountability call with Don. I want them to call me every week to make sure I'm on track, right? Accountability is the greatest tool you can use to make sure that you achieve the goals that you wrote down, okay? Because as we all know, commitment is doing what you said you were going to do long after the feeling you said it in has left you. See, you're going to do it now because you're excited and you're anticipating 2018. But what happens when that motivation and excitement leaves you, right? And it will leave you. For some of us, it's not going to leave till February. For some of you, it's going to leave January 10th. For some of you, it may not leave till April. But you got to write it down. You got to have that in place. And then here's the next steps. Last slide. Don and Bill and I, we created something called the 2018 Growth by Design Facebook group page. And we want you to want to be part of this. This is going to be our accountability group for every single one of you. It's also going to be a time where we're going to be able to reflect. December of 2018, we're going to jump on a webinar and we're going to go back and I'm going to show you what you wrote down January of 2018. So here's what I want you to do. I want you, if you choose to do so, we want you to be part of this group. It's going to be, if you go look on Facebook right now, it's called 2018 Growth by Design. I want you to request to be a member, and then we are going to approve it. And here's what I want you to do when you've done that. This is going to be a group to help keep you inspired, keep you motivated, keep you on track. And it's going to be the support and inspiration we want to give you, because here's what we have decided. 2018 is going to be different for Bill and I and Don, but we want to grow the business with people that are willing to grow themselves. We want to be part of something, and we want to be on a journey with you that we are locking arms, not dragging you. And for many of you, you can say you want it, but we all know that our actions speak louder than our words. So we want you to want to be part of this, and we want you to be part of it. But we don't want to force anyone to be part of something that they're not willing to do for themselves, because we know this is that if you want to change your life, it's going to have to start with you. No one can want this more than you want it for you and your family. So we want you to do that. So we want you to go to 2018 Growth by Design. We want you to ask to be part of that, because here's what you can expect from that. Number 2, we want you to create your vision board, and I want you to post it on our great Facebook group page. So I want you to post it on there so everyone can see it, because the reason we want you to post your vision board in January is because by the end of the year, we're going to go back and be able to look and say, oh my gosh, look at Lisa Hughes. She put this on her growth, on her vision board, and look, she achieved it, right? So we want to be able to go back and reflect on how good God was to each and every one of us in 2018 because we were deliberate, okay? I want you to post your 3 goals on the Facebook group page. Why? Because we want to hold you accountable to do what you said you were going to do. We also want to support, encourage, and inspire you to get those goals done. Also, even if you achieve one of those goals by the end of the year, we want to be able to go back and look at it and say, wow, look what Jacqueline did in 2018 in January. She said she wanted to become a director, and look, she did it. So we can celebrate those great victories that each and every one of us is going to have. And then number 2, the third thing or fourth thing there, Bill and Don and I are going to post a video every single week to help keep you focused and inspired every single week. We want to do that so you can go back and get that adrenaline shot of inspiration that we're all going to need as we go through life together in 2018. And the last thing we want you to do is we want you to make 2018 your best year ever. We want 2018 to be the year that you look back and it was that aha moment. Because we know there are simple steps you can take to become successful in Jevita. There are simple steps you can take to become a professional in this industry, to set yourself aside compared to everybody else who comes in, has big lofty dreams, and quits. See, here's what I'm going to end with for each and every one of you guys, is that this journey in Jevita for you to become financially wealthy or for financially set, or even if it has nothing to do with finances and it has everything to do with time freedom and the ability to do things with the people you love for as long as you want, when you want, how you want, where you want, it doesn't matter. What we want to do is going into 2018, we know this. In order for our lives to change, we must do something dramatically different because we can't expect things to change in our lives if nothing changes in our lives. And we want each and every one of you to have that. And we are super excited and extremely proud of each and every one of you. There are 62 of you on this webinar this morning. And I want to congratulate you and I want you to give yourself a pat on the back because this is going to be the first step to a different year for you. And we look forward to be part of that growth and that journey for each and every one of you. So I want to thank you guys. This has been recorded and I'm going to try to download it and we're going to put this on our growth page and our Facebook growth page so that you guys can go back and reflect. And if you guys need any of the data that we've shared this morning, we will be more than happy to share it. I'll put these slides also on the growth page as well. We are super excited and hopefully we will see each and every one of you in Dallas at the SSS because I will promise you this, the company has a lot of things in store for us, but more importantly, we have a lot of things in store for you. So God bless you guys. I'm going to put everybody off of speaker. Hold on one second. All right, so everyone's unmuted. And I'm going to look at the chat real quick and see. Okay, so no questions. And, okay, awesome. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much. And I'm going to do this. So hold on one second. Before everyone logs off, I'm going to do one last thing, which I think is going to be really cool. Hold on one second. Okay. Hold on one second. Let me
Sounds like someone's getting beat up in the background.
Yeah.
Take it off from your sharing.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. So it is so great to see you guys. And I am looking forward to seeing each and every one of you achieve these goals. Each and every one of you walking across the stage, just doing something special for you and your families. Just know that anytime we build something and we're growing the business, you're not just fighting for you. You're fighting for everyone that is surrounded by you. And that you guys can do it. I believe in you. And I'm going to take a picture because I'm going to post this on our Facebook.
Bye.
Ryan.
Awesome. All right, guys. God bless you guys. We'll look forward to talking to you guys very soon. And Andrea's doing a Super Saturday training here in about an hour. So if you guys have new members, get them on that, and it's going to be awesome. So I will end recording.